Season 3 that we last, I think so. So we've been off, but we're back. Just for this quick episode before I go away to California. You go to Caravana. It's so like okay. So you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at MRD Podcast, and you can Instagram and Twitter at MRD Podcast, on Facebook at Master Race Debaters. We're gonna put up a Patreon very soon, so stay tuned for that because we gotta get paid for this knowledge.
You
can follow me at Gavin B Stevens, and with me is B Black. B Black, you can throw out your social media accounts.
Oh right, B Blizzak on the Twitter. Facebook is B.Black. That's my comedy page, or Barnell Black on Facebook. That's about it. You know, I should get on Snapchat and all that shit, but you know,
I don't know anything about Snapchat or anything. I'm such an old man. I'm like, I give up.
You know,
I give up. I'm at the point where I'm just like, I'm gonna sit on my porch with a shotgun and just like,
bro, you're at that point too, eh?
get off my Wi-Fi, kind of old man. So we all, you know, we're in another debate whether Trump is racist.
What?
I know.
What?
I'm so bored of Trump that I'm just like, I don't care anymore. But this one, apparently, he told on Twitter that he's such a sundowner. He said on Twitter that he told AOC and the group of all women of color in the, I guess, in the Democratic Congress, if they don't like the country, to go back to where they came from. Which, you know, I'm way past. For me personally, to debate whether it's racist or not, it's so fucking racist. It's like, go back to where you came from is what racist
Jesus
people
Christ.
say.
That's classic textbook, homeboy.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
That's what they do. That's their
racism.
That's their MO. Yes, I know. It's like that's the salute, isn't it? Go back to where you came from.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I've heard. The only thing is, I'll give this to Trump, is he polished it in a way where he could convince white people that it's technically not racist. I didn't use the N-word.
Well, he's just giving them shade, right? He's giving them enough cover so they can go, wow. Well, it's not about race, so
it's not about
but like, I'm at a point where I'm like, why am I debating someone whether I think something's racist? Like, I'm debating you about my reality. It's
right.
Like, what's the point? I'm like, okay, if you don't say it's racist, I'm not going to convince you that it is.
Right.
I'm not going to play this game with people. Like,
and then you got and then don't forget, and then you got the white dudes or the white folks who are like, oh, well, you know, I don't mind being told go back to where you come from. It just means I got to go back to Hamilton.
What's wrong with where I'm from? Well, you had a dude on Facebook, and I pointed this out. I know more. I probably congregate with more white people than you, but you know more Trump supporters.
Oh my God!
I was like, I just put the sunken place emoji, but that dude on was just like, I'm tired of this. I'd rather be around a racist than people that basically, and I'm paraphrasing what he said. I'd rather be around racists than people who point out racism.
Jesus Christ. Jesus. Yeah, I think I've numbed myself to that shit, man.
Well, that's because he's like, you're dividing the country with what? With pointing out you be black, and this podcast are dividing this country. Me, we, you and I are dividing.
You know, anyone who's been in a toxic relationship would see it. The relationship we have with Trump is toxic because it's everyone except him that has to accommodate or that has to act right or that has to, well, come on, take the high road, you know, or he's not being like, everyone's making excuses for him. Yeah. Instead of getting him to address his bad behavior, no, it's everyone else. No, you just gotta have to accept it. Just deal with it. But you don't divide the country.
Well, yeah, white supremacy is toxic, right? Like, it's just like, this is what I wanted to get into. I ignored it for a long time because I'm like, okay, this is just, he's saying something else. Right? It's like, to me, it's like that your racist grandfather. I'm just like, okay, the president is racist. water is wet, sky is blue. So I'm like, I don't really, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get into it. I'm like, oh, yeah. Everyone else is like, oh my, like, white people just discovered racism at the beginning of 2018. They had no idea it existed in government. It's like, so I'm like, but then I watched the CNN thing, and this is the thing I'm tired of. It was two black pundits. I don't remember their names. One of them was that woman that's
April.
Yes. What's her name?
What's her last name?
She's
a correspondent at the White House.
Yeah, she's a correspondent at the White House. She had problems with Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Hey, who quit, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah, she did quit. She's gonna run for governor or something. Like, again, another story I don't care about. Like, so she was on there. There was two black people and a white correspondent, like a host, and it was one of those talking, and then one white guy, and and it was clearly,
April Ryan.
It was clear. I'll put up a clip of it. I'll put it up right now.
By the way, it's April Ryan.
Okay, yeah. Okay, here's the clip.
He doesn't say go back to where you're originally from to someone who looks like you, or even someone who looks like me. He says it to 4 black and brown people.
You know, he was saying it to 4 people, 4 politicians who have thrown barbs at him.
He's never said it to a white person.
They have been vile in what they've said.
Never said it to a white person.
But that means that they're completely immune from anything because of their skin color. And that's really what the Democrats are trying to say.
There are people who happen to be black and brown.
April, I think, let's go back to what you said. You know, you got to turn that to the other side as well. You're saying that he's doing it for the Republican base. You don't think today's resolution was done to spark the left? Of course it was. It was to throw red meat to the left to give them what they want. Of
we have
course
never had a president in the U.S. history to have a resolution placed
and we've gone down a very bad rat hole
right now. We
now.
have never had that before.
So tell me this.
What did you just say?
Wait a minute. Wait 1 second. So when Omar said the completely anti-Semitic things that she said, what happened? What did the Democrats do? They couldn't even name her in that resolution. They balked for a week and then just said everything is bad.
Rob,
seriously.
You're not seriously going to stand here. You're not seriously going to sit here and pretend like the problem is not the President of the United States of America. Forget what any other freshman member of Congress is doing.
So basically, if you listen to the clip, which you were because you're listening to the podcast. So basically, it's like 2 black people and a white woman trying to convince a white man that the president is racist. I'm like,
the optic, eh?
What world am I living in? Like
the stupid dumb white man who doesn't understand.
He's not stupid dumb. He's gaslighting everybody. That's what toxic people do. And then, but if you peel back, if you go back from just that, where you're like, oh, he's the bad guy on the show. This is what it is. It's we're watching a TV show. And then we pull back, and it's like, oh, this is white supremacy. This show is for white liberals to be like, oh, how dare they? Because it's not for black people. Like, I watch this, I'm like, I'm not gonna. Why are we entertaining this white guy who I don't know? Like first of all, he's a white guy. Who's talking about racism against black people? Like, what do you fucking know about that shit?
What the fuck? Exactly, right?
What do you know? Anyway, he supports Trump, so whatever. But it's like this is my problem, is the framing of the argument. Like, this is a real both-sided issue. Like, this is like, oh, well, let's discuss the trauma that white people have put on black people for years. And when I say this, I mean whiteness in in institutionalized whiteness of racism. Because now we're talking about institutions when we're talking about the president, the government. He is the head of the institution, and the institution is being racist. And so the institution is telling me that it's what their actions aren't racist to the victim of the actions. Which is like, if you went to any psychiatrist or anything, they'd be like, well, you can't tell a victim that they're not a victim from your own actions.
Right. Yeah,
you have to listen to them and then understand why the person was in pain. But this is the gaslight, and the problem is that the CNN is part of the institution. It's part of it profits off of our trauma. So we're sitting there having this nonsense gaslight conversation on television, and that makes money, right? That's ratings, and they know that makes money. And so here's where we are, and it happens with climate change. It happens with like the Me Too. The Me Too move is a perfect example of it being like it started off pure, and then it became a thing that is also being used to as a profit. Here's my thing. So Trump is they're now talking about they just arrested that guy that was like had the pedophile island. What's his name?
Oh, Epstein.
Yeah, so he's been pedophile island for like what, 20 years? Like 20 years. He got off like 5 or 10 years ago. He's been pedophile, like how long? But now because we're in a Me Too movement and the conversation of Me Too makes money. It is you can put it on TV and people like tune in and we're aware of it, and it's a conversation that makes that advertise it goes with like the Nike and Colin Kaepernick ads or the Gillette thing. It makes money. So now they're holding these people's feet to the fire, but it's not holding people's feet to the fire. It's the conversation. Yes. Trump is going to get off. It's just the conversation of this shit that makes money. Yeah. And Trump understands this too. He understands that's how he got elected. This is the free market. This is the free market of ideas. It isn't about good or bad. It's about what is popular.
Right. Yeah. So, okay, this is probably a more advanced conversation right now, but it just made me notice is how everyone talks about the free market, how it gives people an incentive to what is it, to do better? No, to create shit, to do things.
Yeah.
But I think we're getting to a point where the free market is gonna bring us to a dead end, because at this point we're not looking for solutions. No. We just enjoy talking about the problem.
Well, because
like that's ratings. That's I could sell ad space just bitching about the problem
because free market
and not advancing.
It's just another way of saying capitalism, and the idea of capitalism is like it's profit driven. So so it's going for what is profitable and not what is right. So I remember another from I watched this on Fox. It was Cornel West having a debate with Candace Owens over Southern strategy, and it's just like she's saying it didn't exist, and she's debating a university, a Harvard professor, and it's like, how did you conflate her shitty credentials? She was on YouTube.
Yeah. She was like
to Cornel West, and I have to sit here as a viewer, and if you sit there as an average Fox viewer, like just a white dude who doesn't know, who just thinks Cornel West is like a busybody, uppity Negro, you start going, oh, fuck, yeah, she is smart.
Yeah.
and that's all it is. It's just it's endorphin. It's like if you're in your bubble, your political bubble or whatever, and it's like you see Candace Owens, she just tells you what you want to hear, and it's just like you're getting a shot of your. I mean, I've done that. I've listened to people that give me that shot of fucking right.
Yeah. Or was it clickbait? Or it's like the right title. Oh, on the last season, I think I mentioned a couple who made a business out of just printing out bullshit articles that made people angry.
Yeah.
Like they made a killing off that shit.
Yeah. Well, look at the Russians.
The
Russians hacked the Facebook, and that's what this shit they do. I'm just, I'm just like, my thing is all of this is like okay, so Trump is running on a racist platform, and it's blatantly. Remember, I always say this. Remember when he first got elected, and we're like, oh, he's racist, and every white person, every liberal or every centrist white person is like, excuse me, well, how do we know? Maybe some of those people are, and you're like, no, he's racist. But even if you were just you voted for him and you're not yourself racist, you don't mind racism, which is just as bad. Well, I don't know. I think you're being,
Yeah.
And now here we are.
There's a tradition in this country and the States in believing that racism is not as bad as the people who suffer racism is. Like, it's a tradition. It's like every generation has been going through it, and hopefully one generation will be like, you know what? We ain't gonna fix this until we face it directly in the face. Well, but yeah, no, it's and I find myself being guilty of it too. Like, I wanted to believe all those white people who kept saying, you know what? It's not going to be that bad. Okay, all right.
But the
all right.
system
Maybe
runs
I'm just
on,
exaggerating.
But the system runs on racism. It's trust.
The system runs. Yeah. But I want to buy into the no. Okay, maybe my white friend. He I'm sure he talked to his peeps. I'm sure it's not that bad. All right, kids in cages. All right, you know what I mean.
Well, this is the point. The larger point I want to get to is the trauma. Like it's our trauma that gets profits. Like you were talking about hip hop. You were talking about rap artists.
Yes.
And,
yeah.
And like
there's a and this is what came to me. There's Freakonomics has a podcast about suicide, the concept of suicide, and they talk about suicide in the African American community, and a lot of suicide in the African community. It's more, it's not I'm going to hang myself. It's more I'm going to take on my rival gang by myself. I'm going to do crazy shit. The kind of shit that gets you a reputation, right?
Yeah.
And it made me think of Biggie Small's first album, Ready to Die. Pac's constant theme about wanting to die or not being scared to die. And I'm realizing, that's a man saying, I prefer suicide than this fucking life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People talk about Chicago, the violence in Chicago. I would not be surprised if a lot of those kids who are causing violence are just looking forward to die, and it's like fuck.
Or they don't expect to live, right? Like they
don't expect to live.
I'm gonna end up in prison anyway. Like you know what I mean? Like
yeah. Like if this was a white, this is basically people in a way indirectly telling you I need help, but instead we're like, put a funky beat to that shit and keep it. And throw your hands in the air. You know what I mean?
Can I dance to your trauma? That's the real question. Can I? You're absolutely right. It's like it was the same with like the beat poets or like even in Canada like. You see, like the arts. Like, if you want to art, if you're ethnic, you have to do your ethnicity in a certain way. It has to be for white people. Like, it has to be in a way that for white people to explore. They want you to be like a food court. Like, they want to explore. You can't like just talk about your shit and be a normal human being. You have to play to white people who don't hang out with anyone else but white people, and you have like it's from a white gaze, and also trauma. Like if you look at like who gets government grants and stuff for plays and things when they're ethnic, it's always about like some sort of racism they've dealt with or some sort of systemic thing they had to deal with. Like what if I just want to write a play about my experience with, a blueberry patch. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what I mean? How much I like ice cream. You know
what the fuck? Like, you can't do that, right? Because it doesn't make you money. It doesn't. Nobody.
We want to hear about
shit.
the racist ice cream vendor who wouldn't sell you the ice cream. That's what we want to hear.
Is there a racist blueberry in the patch? Because then we could see ourselves having a play, right? Like they love to profit off our pain. Like,
on a complete side note, I actually posted this. You know that ice cream music, those trucks they played?
Yeah.
You know it's based on a racist song?
Yeah, I heard
by
that.
the way.
Maybe I heard it
Google
maybe
that shit.
I watched it on your read it on the Facebook thing, but yeah. Yeah.
Facebook, yeah, and everything. But anyways, yeah.
Here, look at that. I mean, but that even ties. That's not even a side note. That ties right into they're using racism to sell ice cream.
Oh shit! Okay. Sticking to the topic, the something you were saying that made me think of a joke by Patrice O'Neill, where he talks about, I want to be the guy who understands money to a point where tragedy happens, chaos happens, and I start to beat off. You know what I mean?
Well, it's true.
and I was thinking about there's something I posted, right, and about. Oh, I said, imagine living a life so miserable that the only thing that gives you pleasure is knowing that Trump is in the White House. Yeah. Like, is what puts a smile on your face. The tears of brown babies and I'm enjoying my, you know what I mean?
Doing so well for the economy. It's like, how many of these people own stocks? Like, they always talk about the stock market.
And this is what I'm getting at. But this is what, okay, and someone posted white comic posted a reply, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was funny to him, but the shit had me thinking about the people on this planet right now who are like living comfortably or profiting from Trump's presidency. You know what I mean? People who have stocks in private prison, or maybe their kids.
Which apparently, I think it was our Canadian. Our pension had shares.
One of our one of the pensions apparently was
in the American prison system. So it's big business.
Yes. Yeah. It's good money, but there are people out there who see chaos, and the first thing that comes to mind is I'm getting a promotion.
Well, yeah,
I'm buying a second mansion.
When I was a kid, I told my parents, I'm like, I want to be a funeral director because when you baby boomers die, that's big money. I said that to my parents. And I just like, they were like, what do you gotta encourage your kid, right? You're like, that sounds amazing.
Really?
But when you motherfuckers pass on, because there's so many of you.
And here's the thing, dude. Holy shit. By Trump's standard, you're a fucking genius for seeing that.
Yeah. But isn't that like the narcissism of all of this? Like, it's just the being right wing, especially being a fascist, you have to be a narcissist to be like, I don't care about pain. Like,
right. As long as it's not my own pain. You know what I mean?
I was watching. I started reading Facebook arguments and trying not to jump in because I just can't handle.
I know, right?
White dudes. So it's always white dudes. So someone posted a meme about how like saying "go back to where you come from" is like hypocritical because basically every country, most countries that are white. Are white populated now, were like native people. And that's what basically the meme. Right. And then some guy came in and was like, well, native people were stealing land from other native people before white people showed up. And it's like, but that
I remember that.
Has nothing to do with the fucking conversation.
Yep. Yeah.
What is your point? Yeah. Well, they're not all innocent.
They're all on it. You heard that one too, eh?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's like, okay. This is like,
Yeah. No. It's like white people being surprised that what? There was infighting between the natives? Yeah. Oh, whoa, what the fuck? Why are we such the bad people?
But then a university person came in and said, well, actually, it's native people. If you attacked another I guess tribe without permission, you could get in trouble, blah blah blah. And they said all this stuff, all these rules. And he's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And then a native person came in and was like, actually talking to the elders. She backed up the university guys, and he's like, well, your elders lied to you. And it's like, okay, all right, bro. This is why I don't get in these conversations. This is why, like, when they're telling me that Trump is racist, I just go, oh yeah, I know that. He told me he is, so I'm good.
No, bro, I'm actually past the point of seeing Trump's racism.
Yeah.
I actually see him like a drug dealer profiting off like these racists don't feel like my racism, and I'm just serving it to them. You know what I mean?
That's the other thing. Like, it's like everyone's upset about like identity politics, and what they mean is like, everyone but white people. Everyone but white men is identity politics. But
there we go.
Trump is playing like anytime. Like here's what no one ever talks about is anytime these white people are running for office, especially on the right, immigration becomes an issue. It's brown people become political. They always use brown people. They use white identity politics to always move their like that. That's what his issue is you only use brown people to fucking get votes. Again, using racism to move votes to get profit. It's like I don't understand how people can argue with me and say that racism doesn't exist or systemic racism doesn't exist. And it's just
if you're a white person, I could see it.
Yeah, I guess.
If you're a white person, I could see it. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck?
But
I'm like,
that's a gaslight, isn't it? That's you.
Or if you're part of the population who's been living under Trump and and oh shit, what really? He's president? Oh shit, I didn't notice a difference. You know what I mean?
That's why I can't trust white people's perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't.
Yes.
I can't go by
Break
their
it down.
perspective. I can't look at myself through their lens. I can't do my art. I can't do anything through their lens because I can't trust them knowing what I know.
Exactly. Now I'm gonna say something that and expect to be misinterpreted by a lot of people.
That's okay.
But so fucking be okay. But it'd be amazing if we would have made a lot of progress if white people would have just gotten out the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, fuck, okay, go back to Africa, fix your own problem. See, right there, you know what I mean? You dragged us here from Africa, okay, and left us to our own to figure it out, which is what's going on. But every once in a while, you know, Black Panthers show up and they spent the majority of their energy explaining to the public, no, we're not out to kill white people. We're trying to give some breakfast programs to these kids. Yeah. We're trying to prevent cops for abusing their authority. No. They spent most of their energy against the FBI because they thought that, oh, fuck, okay, this is it, white people.
But this is the cognitive dissonance that white people lived in. Like, so I was just thinking about this before we get on the air. There's a new I guess the new Mortal Kombat game has an ending with Jax, which is a black player. He's like a black military guy. So
okay.
So I guess at the end you win. Like I haven't played Mortal Kombat since high school. But like at the end of this game, you beat this time traveling person that has time traveling powers, and you can. So he goes back and makes it so slavery never happened.
Oh wow!
And so and it's the only thing that's the only thing in the game. But everyone got mad about it. Everyone's fucking pissed about it. Not everyone, but you know,
What's
Caucasian,
okay.
the melanin deficient got so mad that he would do it because you know they shows him with his family, but like it looks kind of African where he is and blah blah blah. And so there's people were like saying how like this is like, oh, you're erasing white people and white culture, and it's like the way they were talking was. And I don't think they hear it, like the mask off, but they're connecting themselves as a white person to slavery. Like, it's like, without slavery, you're destroying white culture, which is 100% correct. That's 100% correct. But I don't think they look at it that way. They look at it like, well, that's not fair.
I
think the
you
point
have to pick
is,
a side, homeboy.
Yeah, it's like... This is going back to like that perspective is like you if you went by their perspective you will feel crazy like I grew up around a lot of white people and so like there was a time I think there was a point in my life where you kind of get woke and then you're like, well, I want to fit into that and I should be a part of that, and then but it's if you go by that perspective you are going to fuck yourself because you are going to come out crazy. Because now you're measuring yourself up against what they think is good.
Yeah. There's some black people with this disease. I call it a disease. No, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I'm still gonna call it a disease. Who they get their validation as human beings from white people. It's if what they consider normal, I consider normal. And that's why those black people. There's a picture running around the internet of these two black women. One of them is hugging up to this white guy waving a Confederate flag, and everybody's watching.
I think
you saw that. Everyone's like, "Oh my!"
Master Ray. I think you put it on the Facebook.
Yeah, and like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? No, I mean, she gets her identity from white people. She's and the Confederate flag, the waiver, whatever. Well, I guess it means he's not racist. No, he likes tamed black people. He's, that's his understanding.
I love how like having sex with a black woman means you're not racist.
Jesus, oh my God!
Like what's his name? Was it Washington that had all those that had that?
Oh, Jefferson.
He was like open about how black women are less. They're not as attractive as white women. They're fucking black people are shit. And he had like how many kids with this woman? Like,
oh man,
women. This child. He raped the child. A black. It's like fuck off with this. Black woman.
So same theme of what you were saying is like there's this new post going around. It's okay to be white. And you don't, you know what I mean? It's you shouldn't feel guilty to be white. No, it's
is okay to be white.
It's the racist part that we have a problem with. You know what I mean? Be white, but it's it finally hit me when you were talking about how I have a lot of Trump supporters. I also have a lot of homophobic black friends on Facebook, and one of them didn't realize it, but because he posts a lot of homophobic shit, right? Yeah. And once he posted this picture of it's like 4 quadrant, right? First it goes black pride, Latino pride, Asian pride, and then white pride is a bunch of white kids holding tiki torches, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you're the same guy who's talking about having a white straight pride parade.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's wrong with the straight pride concept.
Yeah.
Is like you're proud of being of being straight while shaming everyone else for being who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's pride, then fuck it. If that's what you need to be, if in order for you to be proud, everyone else needs to bow down, then that's the problem. That's the disconnect. You know what I mean?
I was like going back to it's okay to be white. I meant like it's okay, comma, to be white. Like that's what being white is. Being okay. You're okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Like if that's your identity, because whiteness is just whiteness. Like, and it's not shit on white people. I don't know why we have to say this.
We got it. I know. I hate having to explain
whiteness
this.
Is
you know what I
only
mean?
created as an opposite of blackness. It's in opposition of everyone else. It's just to say we're separate from everyone else. That's all whiteness is.
Yes.
Like
exactly.
The only thing black people have in common is trauma. But if you look at it, that's all. That's what it is. Is we have trauma, skin color, and trauma. But being black is like there's so many like white. There's cultures. There's like
just
religions. It's so diverse.
Do you know how big Africa is?
Right. It's such a diverse. The diaspora is so. It's so.
I didn't realize. No. It took me a while to grow to realize it. But yes, no, it's diverse. I won't even start with the Caribbean islands. But Africa is a big ass continent. Yeah. There's a large population of Africans. Yeah. I would not get along with, and not for being African, just because of their character. They're human beings, you know what I mean? They're, my point is, I don't think we human beings were meant to be grouped up based on race. No. But here we are today.
Well, that's how they got us in order. But
that's how they got us.
We never left it. And like, I don't getting back to like, go back to where you come from. It's like to those. I feel Ilhan Omar. I am terrified for the way.
Whoa!
I love how they love anti-Semitism all of a sudden.
Yeah. The whole Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
She must be down with the Palestinians and the Palestinians.
They're trying to pass a law in Texas. Excuse me. In order to get hurricane relief money, you have to sign a proposal where you agree never to disparage Israel.
Never to disparage Israel?
Yeah, you can't protest Israel. You can't talk. Like, this is what she's talking about. It's like, why is Israel in our country making these decisions? Why are we taking money from Israeli lobbyists? It's a separate country. Like, if it was Russia and they'd be like, what? This is treason.
Yes, exactly. Well said.
So why are they taking? That was her critique, but it got spun out to anti-Semitism, and now we got to kill this black Muslim woman. How dare she?
Interesting. I know. It's funny. It's how do I politely say this? It's like but it's interesting how Israel has become a sensitive topic. You say the wrong things, and like what happened to what's his name there?
Lamont
Hill, and everything like that.
Well, he was advocating for a two-state solution too. Like he was like saying there should be a place for Israelis and there should be a place for Palestinians. Like he was, it wasn't like get the fuck out. It was like a two-state solution is basically that's the most generous thing you can offer. It's like everyone should be able to live there and get along. It should be a peaceful solution like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to say, look, we're all brothers and sisters. We're all on the same plane. But when you get to a point where you're beyond criticism, that's a problem. Yes, I would say the same thing about black people.
Well, I got into a debate with someone who was on the podcast and about Israel, and he was mad at me, and I'm like, because I'm like, well, wait a second, what if it had not? You want me to take Israel, legitimize them as a country? Okay, well then they should be able to take criticism as a country. But his argument is that people have talking like anti-Semitic about. There's a lot of anti-Semitism towards when it comes to the conversation of Israel. But I'm like, but I'm not everyone else. It's like so then because there's like and I'm sure there is. And like I can't speak on someone else's shit. And I'm sure that I'm sure there is a problem with that. So because the nuance is gone because you're tired of hearing that shit. the anti-Semitism. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but we still need to have the conversation that this is an apartheid going on.
Yeah,
this is what we're dealing with. This is and there's a lot of Jewish people who disagree with it too. This is right-wing Jewish people saying this is, we can't say anything, and Israel is Jewish. That's what my friend said. Yeah. Israel is Jewish people, and I'm like, well, then you're not a country.
Yeah. This made me think. I'm not sure if people consider this on the same plane. And by people, I mean my fellow brothers and sisters, black people. Yeah. There's a post that I put up. It's a journalistic-based article. I guess they critique what's going on in journalism. And they were talking about how the media some news outlet were refraining from calling Trump's tweet racist. Actually, I think even Trudeau, when they asked him about Trump's tweet, he said everything except say, yo, that's some racist shit. And I think, and I'm wondering okay, so so many things I wanted to say, but the part that made me think is the idea that the word racism is being thrown all over the place. Now, the article is trying to say, no, what Trump said was racist, and we need to say it, right? Yeah. But they talk about how we got to be careful to not, basically saying, well, the word racism is being used a little too much. And it's kind of like how some folks might be saying about the word anti-Semitism is being used too much. Like, there's an idea going on that you disagree with a black person and all of a sudden you're racist.
I honestly don't think the word anti-Semitism is used too much. I do think like racism, it has been used maybe incorrectly, but I don't think I'm the person to say whether it is or isn't.
There we go, yeah.
But my point is, I don't think racism or anti-Semitism is used too much in a system that relies on racism and anti-Semitism. Like, okay, is anti-Semitism used too much when, hate crimes against Jews are like at an all-time high? I don't think so.
I'll tell you this. I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised if the small-minded people, the people who don't have the context, if they're the ones at fault for using the word for declaring racism when it's not supposed to. I met this black dude who was talking about how, this one bus driver, basically he was using a fraudulent bus pass to get on the bus, right? And he goes, yeah, man, that motherfucker's a racist, so that's why I don't use it on him. Bro, I don't think you can use it in that context.
Yeah. You're probably right, but you're also very wrong. Like, it's like motherfucker, you shut up.
Shut up, you know what I mean? Yo, I'm not fucking boy. I'm not going on a hunger strike for that shit. So you can use a fraudulent bus pass. Fuck you.
Yeah, this racism is out of control. I don't want to use fake bus passes. I know those people will take my counterfeit money because they're racist. Jesus Christ.
Hey, can I got an opportunity. I got to give you an aha moment that I had recently. I don't know if I told you about it, right? I'm okay, spit it out because that's why I wanted to record during the summer. All right. So recently, I had the opportunity of having a conversation with a French Canadian transgender woman. Okay. And first it started out with her talking about her life as, it was actually it was not formal, but basically she just volunteered how she transitioned, how she gained confidence from it, and how the world she lives in, how she's always surrounded by hypocritical hetero males who in the dark will praise her, but in the light will be like, oh, I ain't into that shit and things like that, right? It was a fascinating conversation, homeboy. I can't explain the shit that I learned for just that bit of conversation. And then this was in June, right? So I found myself, this is where shit goes downhill. I wished her I said, oh, by the way, happy Pride Month. Yo, this girl turns on me, man. Right. Talking about, I'm not going to go into details, but basically the word she uses, I'm not a victim. That's what it pretty much comes down. Like, she doesn't side with, I guess she doesn't join any, like, is it GLAAD or any, like,
that's fine. You don't have
to. And, I'm not into that shit. I'm, fuck it. I don't see myself. I don't need the backing of anyone else. Whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Shit goes downhill when she started to talk about black people. Oh my God, yo,
is she right-wing?
She's French Canadian, dude. I'm gonna right wing. No. Basically, I'm like, I'm just talking to another French Canadian white person who forgot that she's a minority.
They have the they have the same mentality of right wing people.
Basically, yeah. And in her mind, she doesn't think she's doing anything wrong because she felt like she was talking to one of the quote unquote good black people.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So for her,
also fascinating.
Okay, I won't lie to you, right? Inside my mind, I blew up with laughter because it made me realize one is people are fucking people in a sense that sometimes they'll surprise you and sometimes they won't. When I talked to her, I immediately assumed that I was talking to a fellow ally. We were going to, after this conversation, we're going to talk about the revolution.
There's your problem right there.
That's what I'm saying. And then just hearing her talk.
Dude, look, there's some great white people, like, no offense, but, like, these liberal white people are kind of the same shit, and you just...
Bro. And the worst part, she wouldn't let me get a word in. I was like, hey, look, how about you listen to me the same way I listen to you? Because I might, you might learn something new. No, she wasn't trying to.
Oh my God. She's like, I got mine, so I'm good.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Going back to the original statement is like, I'm not into pride and I'm not. It's like, okay, well, it doesn't have to be about you. What about other people? Like, you don't have to denounce the fucking organization or the community because you got yours and you're not a victim. Great. Well, then help out other people or
help out other people.
Don't talk shit about the organization because it helps people that are victims. Maybe you're not. But it's not.
Yes.
But it wasn't organized for you, and it's not an insult to you. That says a lot about that person. Is this like you're offended if I say Happy Pride? Like really?
Yeah.
Like
I am not with them. I am not that group.
It's projection because it's like, oh, I'm not a victim. It's like that's what you said when I said Happy Pride. That's what you heard in that. For me, if you said Happy Kwanzaa, I don't celebrate Kwanzaa, but I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. I mean, like,
I get. Yeah.
if a white person said Happy Kwanzaa to me, I wouldn't be offended, but I'd just be like, oh, it's one of these white people that's trying. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would look at you like, oh, it's one of these one of these breeders.
Right.
One of these breeders trying.
Well said.
I mean, it's adorable, but yeah.
Well
we don't all celebrate
said,
Kwanzaa,
man.
but yeah.
Well, I hadn't looked at it that way. I was thinking more of the pride aspect.
Yeah.
It's like this might be a bad example, but I'm gonna try to use it right. It's the person who needs a wheelchair but refuses to use one because he doesn't want to be seen as a handicap. Kind of like that.
Look, I don't think she's wrong to be like, hey, I don't see myself as a victim. But like, if you said Happy Pride, maybe it's just me. I'd be like, oh, okay, thanks. I really don't celebrate it though. And but if I said that, I'm expecting a deeper conversation. And you might go, oh, why don't you celebrate? Yeah. Well, I find that sometimes I might there's a way to as opposed to like I'm not a victim. Like it's just like no one called you a victim.
No one called. But that's it. But this is what happens when you see yourself the same way racist people see you, and you manage to convince yourself, okay, those racist people are right. They're just not talking about me.
Yeah.
Like, Ben Carson is convinced that he's one of the good blacks.
Like, everybody wants to be white. Like, even this woman, like, using whiteness in the same kind of way is like she wants to fit in. So, like, I mean, if she's surrounded by, like, a whole bunch of, stray people who are, like, just, squares who are, like, blah, 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 and then she's like, fuck that, I'm normal now. Look at, who's that, Blair White. Did you see that, it was, like, LGBTQ. Vice does these series where they, like, talk to Republican like minorities and Democratic minorities in the same room, and the Republican minorities always sound so fucking dumb and so like they sound like this woman like it, and so Blair White is a woman who transitioned.
The YouTuber?
You know her.
No, I just googled it. I'm like, damn.
She transitioned from a man. She's a woman. And so she was like talking to a non-binary person and saying how they're fucking up her movement, and everyone's like, and there's transition people, and they're all like, but this is what gay cis gay people used to say about us too. Like it's like you're dismissing this person's thing and saying how it's like it's basically like, oh, I'm not one of them. They're ruining our cause. And it's like that's what that's what the cis gay people. I'm sure I'm using the term wrong, but the white gay males did too, and they were like, no, but just hide your face so we can get out first.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's horse shit. It's like I got mine. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yes, I was talking to the French Canadian Blair White.
Yeah, that's basically
without
it.
the U2.
That's basically it. It's just like it's chud mentality. It's just like it's a sickness. It's a brain disease where you're like, okay, you just want to fit in, and then when you get into any deeper, like I had a dude, I got in a debate with this guy over the Little Mermaid thing online. But I just want to expose him. This is what I was showing you. So he's like, someone asked us, like they asked. So it was me and Alan Shane. Alan Shane goes, because someone posted the meme going back. It's the meme of Captain Phillips and the Somali pirate, and they put a red wig on him. He's like, I'm the mermaid now. Which is like, it's racist, because what you're saying is, first of all, the woman's not a Somali pirate, and what you're saying is that black people stole the Little Mermaid, right? Like, we took it. We're the mermaid now. And so,
break it down.
So a whole bunch of white people thought it was hilarious, and then Alan Shane was like, and I'm like, right, to Alan Shane, and then she comes in, she tags Alan and I, and asks us, do you guys find this racist? I could take it down, blah, 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 blah. And then the dude jumps in from Halifax, and he jumps in, he's like, it's definitely not racist.
Oh, fuck off. Sorry, calm down,
No, that's what I'm... And then so he keeps... I'm like, I never said racist and blah, blah, blah. And then she races it because I'm like... I just find... Because I said I find it weird that you as a white man are telling two black people what is and isn't racist. He's like...
What isn't racist?
That isn't what happened. And so then I have a private...
That isn't what happened.
So I have a private conversation with him. And it, like... And he starts off his conversation with, I don't see color. That's because I'm like, how would you... Why do you think that telling two black people what is and isn't racist is an acceptable behavior? And then he's like, well, I don't see color, so that means that's why it's not racist, because I don't see color. And I'm like, I never said racist. Like in the whole conversation, I didn't say racist because I know it's one of their triggers. Racist, bigot, privilege. I don't use them because I know it's their trigger, and I know they're waiting for that. That's how they have.
It's a checkmate move. Right. Yeah.
So I never call them racist, but I'm like, there's a myriad. I'm like, and I keep saying there's a rainbow of words in the racism rainbow. There's a plethora of words I could use, but I'm not. So I'm being very vague with it. And so he starts off with, I don't see color, which is like, first of all, okay, I'm done. You're already a racist.
Right.
I'm like, it doesn't matter if you see color. It's like, it doesn't matter about your intentions. And he's like, well, I didn't know that you guys were black. I'm like, ignorance isn't an excuse either.
Oh, man. Yeah, sorry.
And then then I asked him if he has any black friends. And he got mad about that. He's like, what do you mean by many? I'm like, do you have black friends that come to your house and like hang out? And I'm like, what's their names? But here's the thing. Here's what's telling about him. This is what why I kept pushing, because he didn't say, who the fuck are you asking me my black friends? Like he didn't say that. He said, how do you don't know who I am? Which is a weird response to what's their names.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, no, I don't know you, but it's just the way you talk. You sound like you've never been around black people. And he's like, yeah. And then he finally goes, I don't have a lot of friends. So he has no black friends.
My old mama don't like me.
But here's the thing. He kept complaining that I was calling him racist, and like I said, I never called him racist. And here's, I'll get to my larger point after all this. So he kept saying how he gets accused of being racist all the time. And then and then he started complaining about how, again, it was just a circle of, oh, this is what I did wasn't racist because I didn't intend it. And I'm like, I didn't say, I said intention doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, you have to understand. He's like, how is it racist? What if I was Chinese and blah 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 blah? I'm like, you have to understand that there's I tried to vaguely explain the history because I didn't want to get too deep into a conversation about. But I was like, this type of thing happened way before my grandmother, beyond my grandmother's memories. And he's like, you people always need to blame Whitey for your problems.
Oh my God!
And I'm just like,
there we go.
And so I get to a point where he said something along the lines that he doesn't mind the N-word because he was saying how he stopped the umpire from calling his friend the N-word, and I'm like, what do you want, a cookie for that? I don't. That's basic human decency.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, and then he said, well, honestly, I don't have a problem with the N-word in context. And I'm just like, I didn't even comment on it. But I just had enough to know, like, oh, you're a narcissist. You have self-hate because you keep thinking I'm calling you a racist and I'm not. But that's projection. You're telling me you're a racist. As well as, I love how you don't, as this is what I said to him, I'm like, I love how you don't see color, yet you keep saying that I'm calling you a racist. He only sees color when he's the victim. When I'm blaming white people for my problems, or he's the racist. But otherwise, he doesn't see color. And it was just a fascinating understanding. And also, like, why would you be offended with the N-word? Like, why would, like, what are you, an idiot? Like, have you been called nigger a lot in your life as a white man? Is that a regular thing as a white man to deal with? Fucking idiot. And so I just, like, muted him because he started, well, the left keeps calling me. And I'm like, I can't deal with these people that argue with straw man arguments with the left. Shit. But it was very fascinating to go, to see someone, like, just basically, without understanding that he's telling he's a racist, tell me he's a racist. He still thinks I don't think he's a racist. And I said to him, I'm like, do you need me to think you're not a racist? Is that why? Is that what we're doing here? Because I haven't called you a racist once.
That, you know what? Sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, I'm done. Go ahead. Sorry.
Off topic, because I'm like something that happened recently. They got me thinking. At what point should a white person stop caring about whether he's being perceived as a racist or not?
That's the thing.
My theory is when he's not a fucking racist.
That's what I don't understand is like with going back to this. These people need to go back to their country. It's like. The conversation's fucked and all. Like, I got to prove to you he's a racist, but then why is he defending that he's not a racist when he's playing like he's wink wink nudging everyone, and like also with the policies. Like at what point do we stop playing this shitty stupid game and just go he's a racist. We're racist right. And we're good with it. Like, when do we stop playing this shitty game of like you're not gonna convince me he's not racist, and I'm not convinced he is. But it's not even that I need to convince you because you don't care. You just don't want me. It's like being called a racist is the worst fucking thing for these people.
Even worse than being a nigger.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like, why? Like you said, why do you care if I don't call you a racist? Like, why do you care if I call you racist? I don't understand. Why is that the debate?
There's what was her name? This is a white lady, Tony. Was it Tony? Not Tony Robinson.
Tony Robbins.
No, not Tony Robbins. Sorry. Okay. Fuck. Okay. No. I was gonna say this white lady took the same concept of it. There's this white lady with a video outside talking about how a video online talking about how racism is a mental illness.
Yeah.
And that idea is not. New. I've heard another author make that same claim, and that's the thing is what I'm getting at is that's why white people don't really have an incentive to admit or come or see racism for what it actually is because then they have to admit that they have a mental illness.
But I have a problem with that with mental illness, right? Like I keep saying there's narcissism in it, but like my problem is like it lets them off the hook. It takes the evil out of them and goes, they can't help it. And then we're in that conversation. Like then, this is what they want.
That's interesting.
This is why they don't want to be called racist because they want to think they're pure.
That's interesting. See, okay. Pure. This is how I flipped it. Well, let's put it this way, right? The country was built on genocide and free labor, right? That became normal.
Yeah,
and indigenous and Africa has been spending the rest of the entire time saying, "Hey, what you guys did is fucked up," and they've been like, "Hey, that never happened," or "No, it didn't," "No, it's not fucked up," or what I'm trying to so I'm saying is, the country was founded by some fucking psychotic motherfuckers who we now build statues to. And we're trying to let you see them for who they really are. Like, if you want to worship them as heroes,
they're psychotic in terms of like they're profit driven. I mean, like
yeah.
It's like landlords. So I guess it's like the justification for anything is like, well, you may like we do it now. It's like The idea of success. I got into an argument with a guy about Transformers, and he's like, well, Transformers is artistically a bad movie. And I'm like, well, what is bad? Like, how do we know that? Because it made a lot of money. I mean, like, that, and my argument's kind of a chud argument in that situation, but it is kind of, that's what world we live in, is like, profit is also equal to good.
Profit is all, yeah,
profit,
exactly.
The amount of money you make is equal to how successful you are as a person.
Yeah.
And based on how successful you are, you can get away with a lot of shit, man. You can
exactly.
Slip, shit into women's drinks and rape them for years.
There we go.
I
brought it back. Yeah.
Right? Until people don't need you.
Well said. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Like Jeffrey Epstein was probably what is he? A business whatever. He worked on Wall Street.
Do you think the media would fucking like? They would wet themselves if they could get another OJ trial.
Yes.
Right? Because profit.
That's profit.
Profit is the most important thing. So, like, to say psychotic, like, sorry, just getting back to the craziness. To say psychotic, it's not psychotic. They're benefiting on some shit. They're benefiting. It's pure benefit. They make benefit. They even the lowliest of white people are benefiting in a society based on race. And I don't know if it's crazy. I think it's just, things are good for me. And the idea in a capitalistic system is the idea of good is how much profit. Like Jeff Bezos, it's sickening how we put these people up on pedestals like they're great people because they made billions of dollars. Like, oh my god, like they're like the new royalty. It's the new royalty.
It's like that Saudi prince who ordered the execution of a journalist.
Exactly. Where's that going?
Where's that going? Exactly. Eh? Well, we got to tiptoe around him because he owns us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's why everyone's like the Mueller report or this whatever the dude with the pedophile shit. It's like nothing's gonna happen to any of these motherfuckers. They're too powerful. They're too big to fail.
Yeah.
Look at those car companies. Like, they're getting all those bailouts at the end of Obama's term or the beginning. They got all those bailouts, and they put aside money so the CEOs can get a nice little bump every. Like, fucking. Yeah. They're taking money. Like, it's just. And nothing's said. Nothing's done. It's a corrupt system.
Very corrupt. Yeah. Imagine being rich enough to people aren't able to say no to you. Yeah. I don't know the kind of evil person I'd be if I lived in that environment. No. What do you mean? No.
Here's my point with going back to where you come from. Is like a lot of the arguments of go back to where you come from, and it's like, well, America meddled in most of these countries. Like, the reason why these countries are in shit situations because America was in there fucking destabilizing economies or overthrowing governments and shit like that. It's like
Google is your friend. Yeah. There's actually an infographic about how all these countries, Honduras, not Mexico, Guadeloupe, all these little countries, how fucking Haiti, America came in, fucked things up, and then destabilized things, and now these folks need holy shit,
exactly.
Let's find a slip haven. I know, let's go to that Christian nation, huh? Poor bastards.
And it's always like, it's like someone punching you in the eye and then turning around and going, dude, what the fuck? You got a black eye? What the fuck? You can't come here with a black eye.
Hey, you saw that meme with what's his name, Andre? What's his face in Hannibal Bears?
No. Oh yeah.
He shoots him. Why would he hit him? Why would he do that?
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's actually very funny to me. I'm writing this show. I created this show, and it's about like this black dude who's been an Antifa basically protester for years. And now he's at a point in his life where he's like he wants to own a house. So he's going into the system, and it's just basically about being black in like these in the tech industry and just like dealing with microaggressions and the idea that like this the white supremacy will always keep you fucking down. And so I'm like, I have to pitch this to white people, rich white people, and they're just like, well, the one dude I'm talking to, he's like, it's I don't see why it's funny. I'm like, no, it's hilarious. the scenarios are funny, and it's like everyone I show that are writers or are people of color, they're like, "This is great," but like I show a white guy, he's like, "I just don't connect to it." I'm like, "Cause it's not for you, dude.
Because it's not for you, exactly."
It doesn't speak to you. It's not about you.
The sad part is you have to pitch it to some white Americans.
That's what I mean, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's like that perspective of I don't know. I do. Yeah, I think I'm kind of out of gas now. Are you done? Are you out of gas?
I love it. You know what I mean? You know, when you initially suggested this, I'm like, well, Jon Stewart never did a surprise episode while he was on break, and I'm like, fuck it, we ain't making Jon Stewart, buddy. Fuck that.
That's why we have to do a surprise episode.
No, I'm glad. You know, you might just call this one emptying the gas tank.
It probably is. I have to figure out when we're gonna start, but we're gonna be doing a live show September 27th in Hamilton.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it, man.
I can get more details, but yeah, we're doing it at the art gallery in Hamilton, so I'm excited about that.
The art gallery in Hamilton. Yeah. I'm surprised you got. I'm surprised you didn't get Alan Shane as one of the comics.
Yeah,
I'm not disappointed. I'm just saying.
I'll get other people, but I'm like, this is just the first show, and I'll do other shows, beautiful. So. These guys are around. I'll use Alan Shane, but yeah, right now.
Yeah, no. I like. Okay, I've never. I've only seen him on a flyer. Tim.
Blair.
What's his name?
Tim Blair.
But Tim Blair. Oh right, okay, Tim Blair. But the girl, the lady, the woman, the black woman you got on. She. No, I love her. She. The first day I did the Nubian show, she went out after me. And one of her jokes I remember is like, I think before white people should be allowed to adopt black people, they should be make friends with black people first or something like that.
Yeah.
And we fell in love. Anyways.
Yeah. Did you say, and then we fell in love? Is that what you said?
I fell in love. When she made that one joke, I'm like, fuck, I got to come back to the city more often.
I have a hard time pronouncing her name. It's Sur Quelle. But she's...
I'm following... Yeah. French is my first language. That's my excuse.
Yeah, you got an excuse. I'm an idiot.
We'll figure that out, by the time the show starts.
I worked with her a couple of times. Like, not worked, but I did shows with her a couple of times, and she's very funny.
Nice.
That'd be good to bring her on. But I'm gonna get other comics. I'm trying to make it diverse, and that's what it's about. So... Yeah.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
We're on to something.
Yeah, we are on to something. So we're going to, this next season probably start in September sometime. I'll let you guys know before, but this episode is going to go up on Monday or Tuesday. We'll see.
All right, I got to upload this shit.
I got to do all the artwork and stuff. It's an hour. It's good.
So what do you think you're going to do?